Hey,
Hey,
I miss you.
I miss you. How are you
Hey,
doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Very well. Very well.
Leslie Rich, everybody. I'm going to sing a theme song at you. Are you
I'm ready for
prepared?
that.
Okay. Hey, I miss you, and I hope you're doing well. I miss you and hearing your music IRL. So I am thinking that you sing me a song or two. I just sit here in my bathroom saying, hey, I miss you.
It's so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Nothing but the best theme songs for my bathroom talk show, you know.
Absolutely.
Um, so I'm Sarah Morris. I'm sitting in my big green bathroom in Shoreview. You, Leslie Rich, have been here. Look at this. Look at us. Shut your
Look at
face. Look how happy
us.
we are. That's when we were
You were
together.
happy back then.
That's when we were together. Now we're separated by this black line, which indicates you're somewhere else. I'm wondering if you could tell all of us where you are right now.
I am in my little home studio in St. Louis Park.
Ooh. A suburb of Minneapolis, a fine, fine one.
Yep.
Yep. And then I'm going to ask, how are you right this minute? I'm going to click a Polaroid. Ready?
Well, I'm well. I'm very well. I have managed to avoid all contact with our pandemic, and I'm healthy. Do you know I work in a donut shop?
So I heard a little rumor about that, but I don't know the details. And I have some donut things. So talk to me.
Since since working at the donut shop, I've lost 30 pounds.
Shut your face. That's crazy.
I don't get time to eat the donuts.
Yeah. I worked at McDonald's once and it had the opposite effect for me,
Oh no.
but I'm so glad. We're going to have to talk about donuts in a little bit because I have donut feelings. But before we get to donuts, donut pass up the opportunity to hear you. Will you sing us a song? And will you tell us why you chose the song that you're going to sing?
Well, I, I wrote a bunch of songs during the pandemic, um, but the one I'm going to play you kind of uh, struck me first. I think
Hmm.
I was reading a Min Post article about a gentleman called Terrell Bryant,
Hmm.
and he wasn't happy. He wasn't happy with the riots. He wasn't happy with the pandemic. He wasn't happy with anything. And he took a walk from St. Louis Park to Lake Street with the purpose of dying and bringing a policeman with him. And when he got there, his whole experience was entirely different. He got there and he met people in the Powderhorn district that just talked to him, loved on him, give him a place to sleep, and the next morning his life was entirely changed. And he spent the rest of his time there, feeding people that needed fed, helping people that needed
Hmm.
helped, and found a whole new purpose. He went from being a very very angry person and just experiencing love from a handful of people in the Powderhorn district, and his life was transformed.
My
And
God.
I don't typically I don't typically craft songs. So I don't typically sit down and write all the words out meticulously and rewrite them and know exactly what it's going to sound like. It usually happens by accident.
Hmm.
And this one was the same, but it's exactly that story. So that's basically the song I'm going to play for you.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Okay.
me how to piece it together. Teach me how to put it to rest. When you come, will you fight those fears? Come, will you hide those tears? And just don't know where it started, and I don't care if you know. When you come, will you bang a drum? When you come, will you come here on your own? Fight to fight, you want it. Fight to fight, you want it. It's the only way I know. It's the only way I know. We're all messed up, it all together. All messed up, it all together. All messed up, it all together now. And your empire brought us here. A cigarette at 4 a.m. I don't know them from a can of paint, but trust in what they see. Trust in what they see in me. To fight, I need it. Fight to fight, I need it. It's the only way I know. It's the only way I know. We're all messed up, it all together. All messed up, it all together. All messed up, it all together now. And your empire brought us here. We're all here and all together now. We're all here and all together now. We're all messed up, but all together now. We're all messed up, but all together now. And we're all here and all together now. And we're all here and all together now. We're all messed up, but all together now. We're all messed up, but all together. It's the only way I know. It's the only way I know. We're all messed up, but all together. All messed up, but all together. All messed up, but all together now. And your empire brought us all messed up, but all together. All messed up, but all together. All messed up, but all together now. And your empire brought us here.
Oh, Leslie, so good. Oh my goodness. I thank you for sharing that. I was singing along, even though I'd never heard it before. And, I mean, especially with that powerful lyric, all messed up and all together. Heck, yes, we are. And having it be a melody that's like so invitational, like, yeah, you join in and sing with me. You're also messed up and we're together. I mean, I don't know if that was your intention, but I took it as an invitation. So thanks.
That's all right. Drop my pick.
I'm wondering if you'll be able to, I'd love to see that article. Like maybe you could share a link with
Yeah,
me so I
absolutely.
can share it with us, the big us.
Yeah.
Um, Yay. This is Hey, I Miss You, a show that my name is Sarah Morris. I invented this show because I used to sing with people in my big green bathroom and I loved it so much. It was a great way to connect with musicians from all over. And then COVID happened and it felt weird to be in a tightly enclosed space with strangers or friends even. Who knew? And so one day on a run, I dreamed up like, how can I still be with people if I can't be with them? And the answer was this little made up talk show that I have right here.
I like it.
So, hey, I miss you. Then I'm going to ask you if you would. You kind of just did. That story was pretty good. But in addition, tell me something good. Tell me, tell me, tell me.
There's so many things that I could tell you that is good right
I'll
now.
take it.
Donut shop is one of them because it's such a fun place to work. If you have to have a day job as an artist or a musician or whatever it happens to be, it's got to be something that just fires you up. So the donut shop is good. This lovely studio that you see me sitting in
Mm-hmm.
is brand new. So that is also good. I
Yeah,
moved in here in October. So that's good.
yeah, that is good.
So
Can I ask you with the donut shop? Are you baking or are you doing more of a manage
no,
some other kind of
I'm
role?
I'm over all of the people that do all of the hard work. So
Awesome.
someone else does the baking, and then I make sure that it's done right and make sure that stuff sells, and
That's
that's
awesome.
it.
I love that. Oh, those are both really good things. Thank you. Um, in case you missed it, ooh. In case you missed it, this is Leslie Rich. Leslie, you have come to us being the Minneapolis St. Paul music community from Northern Ireland, true?
This is very true. In 2004,
Yes. So that's 22 years ago. No, 18 years ago.
yeah. Hmm.
Good thing it's not a math show. Did you land in Minneapolis on purpose? In
I
Minnesota?
did. I
Hmm.
did, yeah. I'd been coming here since 95
Okay.
and just meeting people. I mean, you know as well as me that Minnesota people are just lovely. So I'd been playing some music and I just met people. I met more and more people, and the social circle just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually in 1998, I started to apply for my green card so that I could emigrate at some point. And that finally came to fruition in 2002, made the move in 2004.
I love it. I feel like I got to meet you probably 4-ish years ago. You reached out, or I reached out, and somehow we went to Starbucks. Back in the day when you just like met friends for coffee. I haven't done, oh my gosh, I can't wait for that day again. But I was immediately struck by how kind and warm you are. And so
I,
it's,
I must have been over caffeinated that day. What is
well,
wrong with me?
Starbucks is good for that. I think. So you played in a multitude of bands, but then you also had your own solo project, and then you also started Leslie Rich and the Rocket Soul Choir in
That's right.
1994, which I think is ridiculous because I was like, I did the math on that one. I was like, I don't know how that's possible because I feel like Leslie's probably like he would have been like 14 when that happened, or like
Yeah,
12 when you started. And you don't have to tell
true.
me.
No,
Okay.
I don't care. I'm 50 years of age. I'm half a century old.
Half a century. Did you start Rocket Soul Choir in Ireland and then bring it with you? Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's had like a lineup that has been elastic.
Yes. So I was always playing solo, and people kept telling me that I needed to have a band. The thing in Ireland, though, at that time in the mid 90s, it was full of guitar bands, very good guitar bands. And I
Yeah.
just didn't want to be, I just didn't want to be the same thing. So
Hmm.
I decided that we would form the band, and I had two people that wanted to form the band with me, but we would stay acoustic. We would rock, but we would stay acoustic. And so that's kind of that's how we find a little bit of a niche in Belfast, was basically because we still rocked pretty hard. We were still a pretty fun band to go and see, but it was very acoustic orientated. So those two members, then I came here in '97 to meet some people here, which are now two of my best friends, a guy called Jason Wall and Mike Jorgensen. And they formed an American version of the Rocket Soul Choir. Well, because I came here in '97, John Steele, the original drummer, went to Japan,
Oh,
and it took him a long time to come home. And then Rick McCulloch went to work in a studio in Dublin, and he's still in Dublin right now. So when I got back from playing with the American version of the Rocket Soul Choir, I needed to find new members for the Belfast version of the Rocket Soul Choir, and so that just started a whole roller coaster of members just coming and going. But Gary Morrison, Emma Doran, oh my heart with Emma Doran, Paul Woods, Johnny Mitchell, all basically played a part in making the Rocket Soul Choir a pretty fabulous band to be in. It was fun for me to bring songs and then watch them just explode. And then in 2015, because I'd been in a Celtic band here for a long time, playing Irish fiddly diddly music.
Hounds of Finn.
Hounds of Finn, yes.
Okay.
Um, so I played with them for a long time, and then Jason Wall, and then Pete Bulger, my current drummer for the Rocket Soul Choir, both said we just need to play some rock and roll music, and then we went electric. And it's been that way ever since. Jason left due to a whole bunch of health issues. He left 2018, maybe. And then we found Adam Robinson, and he's been with the band ever since. So yeah, it's a fun project. It really is.
Yeah, and I think it speaks a lot to uh, you must make it fun to be in and like feel good that people want to come in and like and that you're able to let it grow. I think speaks to patience and confidence as a creator, right? And then getting to have all those wonderful inputs that like have helped it be what it is. I think it rocks really fantastically. When I was listening this morning to your current album, which we'll get to in a minute, but I was like, oh, I for me in Minneapolis, as I've grown as a musician, most of my time has been spent around like folkies, singer songwriters. We've got our acoustics. I don't get to hear the rock very often, but like in the last year or so, I've been exposed to more, Kiss the Tiger, Annie and the Bang Bang, Leslie
Oh
Rich.
yes.
Like we have really fantastic, I want to say classic rock, not that it, but it's just that it is that, it's that real rock and roll. And I think that even though you mentioned going electric, there still is that Americana rootsy going on too. So you've grown and like all the parts of you seem to be coming together in your latest release. Does that feel fair to say?
That feels pretty good. Yeah. You know, I I write on the acoustic guitar. It's rare
Mm-hmm.
that I write on an electric guitar. So I guess that's what give it some sort of roots.
Yeah.
But then when I bring it to Pete and Adam, it doesn't make sense to me that I would show up and say, "Here's what I want you to play. Here's what I want it to sound like," because although that maybe I'm a genius and maybe that sounds very, very
Maybe.
but then I'm missing a whole opportunity to hear someone else say, "Here's my idea," and it totally sometimes it just changes things, changes my approach. Then, so I'm actually coming to the band with things less worked out. Just to allow it to basically sort of organically become Rocket Soul Choir instead of just Leslie Rich.
I love that. Your current album, The Butcher Boy, came out a year ago tomorrow.
That's right.
It came out on, and I love this, January 22nd of 2021, which if you write it in like standard American dating, 12221 is a palindrome. I just had to say that because I really get geeky for that stuff. I write in a journal every morning, and when a date is a palindrome or like an addition problem, I get just so hot and bothered. Um,
As you often do.
last time that you and there it is, hold her up. So beautiful. Can you tell me quick who did the artwork?
I did the artwork.
Shut your face. Look at you.
I did.
I love it.
Um,
Like you drew it, painted it. What
yeah, it was digitally done, but it's colored pencils.
is beautiful? Um, last time we were together, which was that picture that I showed everybody. Oh, I'll just show it again. Let's just look at us. Ah, we were about to sing a super sad song, but no one knew. Both metaphorically and in that moment, we did sing a sad song. But it was early-ish February 2020,
Yeah.
and you were getting ready to. I believe you'd recorded it already. You'd already gone to Sparta to work with Rich Matson and your band. Is that
That
true?
is true. Yes. It was all finished up in January. We had
Yes.
it finished up, and we had it mastered, and we had all of the release shows and the Kickstarter shows and all of that stuff all figured out.
Right. So we were meeting and getting ready. You were getting ready to launch your Kickstarter. Um, how did the pandemic hitting right as you were about to do all of that? How did it affect the release? I mean,
Just punched it right in the face. it
face.
it yeah, it stopped everything.
Yeah.
So all of the gigs were canceled, and um, I think so. I'm the kind of person that I knew I was meeting you today, and if you had have said, in the last 10 minutes or so, I can't do it today. I'm an adult, so I'm okay with that. But emotionally, in here, I feel it feels wrenchy to me. I feel like I've just been wrenched. And it can be something simple. Literally, are we having chicken tonight? Yes. Oh no, I changed my mind at the last minute. And it's kind of, it pulls
Yeah.
me. So when big things happen, then it kind of affects me more. So it felt like someone had just, tugged me back in my seat. Um, you know, just sit down and shut up. So that's
Hmm.
what it felt like to me. Um, and it took the wind out of our sails. When I sitting at home, I tried to um, do what I knew was right, figure out live streaming, figure out how to get music still out there,
Hmm.
and I didn't feel it in here.
Hmm.
I knew it was the right thing to do, and I tried to do it, and I put on a brave face. But in here, I just wasn't feeling it. Live music, man. Oh, you can't you can't beat it. You can't beat it at all. And so, even though I was writing, I started to write some stuff, and I was starting to feel it a little bit more. It wasn't until things relaxed a little bit, allowing Adam, Pete, and I to get together and play rock and roll again, that I
Yeah.
started to feel built up enough that we should do something. And so therefore we connected with our mutual friend Ellen Stanley and figured out a plan of how to reinvigorate the Kickstarter and then release the record. And so we eventually did, and we're very glad that we did.
It's awesome. It's really good. I want everyone to go and listen to it immediately. It's going to be really good for your Friday afternoon, is what I'm going to say. It was really good for my Friday morning, but it will work for your Friday afternoon. I think that's just a great idea. Um, yeah, thank you for sharing that. I know that, I think especially like hearing your story with how you've generously allowed your music to be impacted by all the humans that you make it with, when suddenly you don't get that input, you don't get that connection. It was a real, I experienced that challenge. I know a lot of us did, like, because live music is one thing from that artist to audience connection, but it's also another thing from that art, musician to musician, that electricity on stage and that sense of support and, yeah, sense of response. Like, yeah.
Creating stuff.
Mhm. Yeah. Ugh. Thank you for sharing that part of the story. I wanted to quickly touch on, and then we need to get you singing again. So, on your bio, you refer to baking and cooking, and I also am a baker. And so, I'm thrilled to know that you found your way. So, what kind of baker were you before you started working at the donut shop where you actually don't bake?
I do bake. I bake a lot.
But not at the
I
shop, you said.
Not at the shop. No.
Right.
Um, I I was a chef for 14 years
Oh.
before I left Ireland,
Mm.
and I worked in a multitude of places. I worked in restaurants and bars and dive bars and fancy restaurants and schools and hospitals. Oh, my favorite place to work was in the fire station,
Oh.
because the shift, the watch, red watch, blue watch, green watch, I would show up to work, and they would show up with a bag from Tesco's with some items in it, and they would say, "We need lunch and we need dessert," and I basically had to take what was in the bag and I had to create something, and they were always appreciative. So I really loved that. But the last I think 1 or 2 years of my time in Ireland, I baked desserts for the Chancellor of Queen's University. I was part of a team of people, but that's what basically got me making a lot more sort of sweet things. So I bake a lot at home. I make a pretty good cheesecake, which was in fact one of our Kickstarter rewards.
I did Kickstarter with baked goods as a reward as well because I'm more of a bread baker. I like making sweets. It's just that then I have to have a place to put them, and I don't let my kids have enough sugar. I'm mean and all that. So yeah, very cool. I noticed that Pete, he plays he in your band and he cooks, but Adam does not. I noted that. I loved that you put that all in your bio.
Adam, he does not cook. Just everyone know that Adam will not cook.
But does
He's
he
not a
eat?
creative cook. He eats Pete's entrees and my desserts.
It's awesome.
He is good though at finding really good snacks.
That's a skill too, right?
It is a
We
skill.
we all bring our different skills to the party. Okay. One more food question, and this is like way off topic, but since your album is called The Butcher Boy, have you ever had the Butcher Boy sandwich at the Minnesota State Fair?
I have not. I didn't even know it existed.
Oh, it's a big thing. It's like when you titled your album The Butcher Boy, that's the first place my brain went. Now, I think there's like a whole bunch of history of smart people things that have to do with the Butcher Boy, but me, I just thought of that sandwich, which is right by the grandstand. Okay, I could talk about food forever, but we're not going to do that. What I want to hear is another song from you. If you would please share it with us and tell us what it's called.
So I'm gonna do "Letter to Your Folks," which is
Okay.
off The Butcher Boy.
Yep.
So
All
the
right.
reason the album is called The Butcher Boy is because my dad is a butcher. That makes me a butcher boy, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so there's a whole song that came out of that, but I worked for my dad a lot when I was at home, and I really loved it. I loved working along with my dad. He's a brilliant individual. I love him. He's very creative. He's a very hard worker, and so anyway, I miss my folks.
Yeah.
I was actually supposed to fly home at Christmas and go see them for 4 days, and I had to cancel because everything's crazy again, and I just didn't want to be part of the problem. But the song was written at a time that I wasn't feeling Minnesota too much. I was feeling pretty low, and I was
Yeah.
thinking that I might want to just go home and go back to Belfast. And so that's what the song's about.
Yeah.
Um, but it's a fun song. It also has another bit that is sing alongable. So I know that there will. I'm hoping that there'll be people out there that are singing along. We always try to get people to sing along when we play this live. Nothing's changed in this format, so.
I love it. Yeah. Leslie Rich.
What you came here, honey, to see is not the same as the picture frame that you wanted to believe. Where you bend all your hopes and your plans and your dreams, but it's time for you to go home. Nothing to see, nothing to put into your letter to your folks. And baby, it's time to go home. Hey! This is not my truth to you. Baby, if it hurts, these are not my words. You just thought you ought to know. When they form inside, they sound better than that. But it's time for you to go home. Nothing to see, nothing to put into your letter to your folks. And baby, it's time to go home. Hey! And when there's nobody home, replay scene after scene of how it should have been, of how it should have been, but nobody else knows. 'Cause it's time for you to go home. Nothing to see, nothing to put into your letter to your folks. Baby, it's time to go home. Baby, it's time to go home. Baby, it's time to go home. 'Cause baby, it's time to go home. Hey!
Yay! I sang along under my muted microphone. Leslie Rich and the Rocket Soul Choir, everybody. Again, The Butcher Boy, their most recent album came out a year ago tomorrow, so you should celebrate now by one, going and buying it, but also just listening to it over and over and over again. I'm going to ask you, Leslie, this is my quick question. Would you play it forward? Tell me something that you're listening to these days that's really getting you hot in the ears. What are you loving?
You've already mentioned them, Annie and the Annie Anakin, and basically Annie and the Bang Bang, and their
Yeah.
new. I'm not gonna call it an album. I'm gonna call it an EP because it's one side, 6 tracks, walkie talkie.
Yeah.
Annie just makes words that just Just always punch. I love them.
The good kind of punch, as opposed to the punch we got in the face for, yeah, yeah. No,
Not
she's
all,
fantastic.
not always.
She was on a few months ago, and it was just like, oh, so good. Thank you. I will link to that below. Okay, this is the time where I ask you to give everybody that's watching an action item. Action item. What is one thing they can do? Whoo!
The best thing that you can do is go and find us online. You basically like us and follow us everywhere that you can find,
That's not one
because
thing. You just cheated. One.
well, the one thing is go to the website and buy stuff. I mean,
There
it's
we go.
we we're not earning money from gigs. We're not earning money. We're not connecting with folks other than in the digital world.
Yeah.
And the only way that we grow is then to go find us in the digital world and share it with everyone you know.
I love that. And if you go to the website, you can then go to all those other places Leslie tried to mention, but I'm so rude. Now, I link to everything below. So someone could just go and go like, bloop, 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 which is high fives to that person. But I think going to the website is like your one-stop shop. That's where you get started. It's actually a beautiful website also. So
Thank you.
that's what we'll say. I want to thank you, Leslie Rich, so much for being here with me. It
Thank
really
you.
was so good to see you. I want to thank,
You too.
I need to thank my patron supporters. These are the people that keep me going. Thank you. And make it possible for me to make crazy things and interview people from my bathroom. You know, no big deal. And then I want to thank the watchers. Thank you so much for being here. We're excited to have another year of Hey, I Miss You. We'll be back next Friday, 12 o'clock noon. So you can bring your lunch to hang out with me every Friday. I think that's the way to be it. Yeah? Let's
Perfect.
do that. Can I sing the theme song one more time at you?
Yes, please.
Hey, I miss you, and I hope you're doing well. I miss you, and hearing your music IRL. So I am thinking that you sing me a song or two. While I just sit here in my bathroom saying, Hey, Leslie, Rich, I miss you. Hey, I miss you, and I hope you're doing well. I miss you, and hearing your music IRL. So I am thinking that you sing me a song or two. While I just sit here in my bathroom saying, Hey, Leslie, Rich, I miss you.